Disney rides and attractions keep us coming back to the parks vacation after vacation. In today's video, we're talking about our favorite classic and cutting-edge rides and attractions at Walt Disney World.
Welcome to Always Planning Disney, where planning is half the fun. I'm Melissa.
And I'm Cheryl.
On this channel, we talk through all of the details that go into making our vacations magical.
So this is going to be another park by park episode, and I thought we could start with the Magic Kingdom today, if that's all right with you.
Definitely.
All right, great. So in the Magic Kingdom, which I have to say is really one of my favorite parks, because you can't beat that castle view, right? Like there's just something so classic about the Magic Kingdom. It's the original park. Love it. But a lot of my favorite rides are not necessarily opening day attractions. My number one ride in the Magic Kingdom is Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin. For one, I am a huge Buzz Lightyear fan. I have a big crush on him. I love getting pictures taken with him in the park. He's fantastic. But also, Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin is part of a vicious family competition, complete with a trophy that has gone back and forth between different parties. We have a scorecard. It's all very intense. And luckily, it's a competition where we team up couple by couple. So I am terrible at it. I am complete dead weight for my team, and my husband completely has to carry the team. But it is my favorite, even though I get very, very low scores. So that's my.
You guys ever won? Have you ever got to take the?
You know, what's great is, so we actually have won. Our team, my husband and I's team, won the trophy. So we held on to it for a while. We do not currently have it. And that's because my mom, of all people, maxed out the score on Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin. She was the first one to do so, even though my dad and my husband are much better shots. So she was darn proud of herself, and she deserves to be, because the guys have been wanting to get a perfect score on Buzz for a really long time.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, we were proud of her. Another one of my favorite rides in the Magic Kingdom is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. And part of that is because it's just a super fun roller coaster. I love it. It's not too intense. It's just a super fun time. It's also a great bang for your wait time, because oftentimes the line isn't too terribly long, but it's a pretty long roller coaster. And so you feel like even if you have been waiting a while for it in, the days before Fast Pass, or now when we're temporarily out of Fast Pass, it's a long enough ride that it feels worth standing in line for. And then my last kind of top ride in the Magic Kingdom is Pirates of the Caribbean. That's probably my favorite of the classic dark boat rides, because I just really enjoy Pirates and that song. I could do without the drop, to be quite honest. I have to kind of brace myself because you don't see it coming. But it's just a really fun classic ride, and I love how they've been updating that one over the years.
Yeah, so Pirates, I enjoy, except for the drop as well, and that was enough not to make my top list. But on my list, I have Jungle Cruise. The skipper makes it a different experience each time, and I enjoy the puns, so I will stand in line for Jungle Cruise, even though sometimes I think the lines are oversized for what the ride ultimately is. I enjoy Jungle Cruise quite a bit. I also really like the Enchanted Tiki Room. What you're probably going to notice here is that there's not a lot of thrill in my lists, and that is because I am a little bit of a ride wimp. I don't like huge thrills, drops. I don't do repetitive spins either, and so Magic Kingdom is a great place for me because there are a lot of these calm rides. I also really enjoy original, classic rides that are at Disneyland and day one Magic Kingdom sorts of attractions. Jungle Cruise fits right into this. Enchanted Tiki Room, it is the tiki look and feel I love. It's also a great sit down break. It's not as long as Hall of Presidents or Carousel of Progress, but it's a nice chance just to sit and relax, get some AC. Peter Pan's Flight, that's another day one ride. For me, it's less stressful than Haunted Mansion, which will not make my list because of the stretching room. It really stresses me out in there. And I adore Small World in Magic Kingdom. This is my number 2 ride in all of Magic Kingdom. It's a day 1 ride. It's classic. It reminds me of the World's Fair. And I love just thinking back to a time when people came together to share the best that they had in innovation and the animatronics there. Again, love classic Disney. The idea that somebody physically made models and that they have mechanical work behind it. It's great to see at Small World, and everything's sort of moving and going. There's a lot to take in, and the art of Mary Blair. I love all the movies of that era, the look and feel of them. And every time I'm on Small World, I wonder if there's a room in my house where we could paint the walls, like how Small World looks. I love how I love the look of Small World so much. I have not yet painted my house to replicate it though. Truly, I just enjoy that ride all the way around. But the Seven Dwarfs Mine Ride is my favorite at Magic Kingdom. It's everything a roller coaster should be. It is just thrilling enough with some of the turns and the small drops. There isn't a big drop on that one, but it slows down to let you take in the theming and the scenery. It's really beautiful. And that's what I like in a roller coaster. I don't want it to be something that's out to terrify me from beginning to end. I want something that has moments of peaceful enjoyment, and Seven Dwarfs definitely does that. I have not done Big Thunder yet. I really want to, because I think I would like that. And also I'm really looking forward to the updated Splash Mountain. I only hope it's open when we go. For whatever reason, Splash Mountain has never been open anytime I've ever been to Disney. So once Tiana takes over, I ensure it's open when I get there.
You might have to go at a different time of year because you keep going during the winter when they shut it down for refurb.
I know.
All right, should we hop over to Epcot?
Yes.
I have to say, we didn't get on very many rides in Epcot last trip. We had planned less time because of all the construction and the walls, and it was just not a super fun time to be in Epcot in early 2020. And one of the evenings that we were there, we had bad weather. So we wound up leaving early. Most of our Epcot time was spent walking and eating, because really that's what we love to do there anyway. So I was thinking back on previous trips where I have ridden most everything in Epcot, and I don't know that any of the rides I've gone in Epcot in the past are must-dos for me. And I think that's why it was okay for me to skip them last trip. I'm not saying I don't like rides in Epcot, because I do. I like most of them. I'm not going back on Mission Space, but most of the rides in Epcot I enjoy. But I just don't think that they're like must-do, make or break my trip kind of rides. So I don't know, that's where I'm landing right now, but I'm very excited we didn't get on Frozen last time because we didn't have a fast pass, and the line was just a little too long for what we felt like our son was going to tolerate. So I'm excited to finally get on that. And I'm excited for Ratatouille and Guardians of the Galaxy. So I think we're coming up on some must-do rides for me, but in the past, I don't know, they're fun, but they're not make or break it.
I'm excited for the updates that are coming to Epcot too, and some of those new rides. Epcot is my favorite park. I know that I said I like classic Disney, Day One, Magic Kingdom, but I think Epcot carries some of that with it, just knowing the roots of where it originated from in terms of like Walt's vision. I adore Epcot because I really like the walk and the food. But actually, when I was preparing to talk about what I like at Epcot, I realized there's a lot of the rides that I like there, in addition to the non-ride things. We love the aquarium, Future World, the street performers in China. Epcot is amazing. I enjoy it so much. In terms of the rides, I actually really like the Grand Fiesta Tour, although we go on it usually just to see what's going to be broken. Basically, there's always something broken there, and we just want to know, like, has Donald fallen over? Is there a cardboard cutout instead of a character? We also enjoy Turtle Talk with Crush. Similar to Jungle Cruise, it's different every time that you walk in there. It's enjoyable. We like Turtle Talk with Crush, and usually the wait is 5 minutes. So it's a real quick thing to do. I put Living on the Land on my list, and I try to justify why I like that so much. And I have no idea, but I ride it every single time. Maybe it's just peaceful. I think sometimes I try to imagine having the ability to have a comparable vegetable garden as to what they have there. It would be amazing. I don't know why I like Living with the Land, but I do. Maybe it's just the Epcot high that I have overall, everything there. Frozen Ever After is an amazing ride. It is beautiful. It is themed brilliantly. The technology scares me how good it is because there are physical characters, like 3D characters, but their expressions are computer animated and digital. And I can't figure out how that happens so well. It's a beautiful ride. It's a lot of fun too. But my favorite thing at Epcot is Soarin'. All I want to be able to do is fly, and this gets me as close as I will. I do prefer the more thrilling versions than what they have there right now, but I love Soarin'. I think I managed to get on it once. Really, I could probably just sit on Soarin' for hours and be totally fine. I also am really looking forward to Remy, and it's probably going to knock Grand Fiesta Tour off my list anyway, because that one was just barely holding on in the first place.
It looks so cute. I'm so excited for that one to open. All right, moving over to Hollywood Studios. So I mentioned that we have a family competition, very cutthroat, very serious. And so Toy Story Mania is the other half of that family competition. So that's top of my list. We have to go on it, even though I kind of hate that the arcade games are like with the little ball thing. I don't even know what you call that controller, but it's really painful to use and it wears out your arm so quickly. So I don't love that, but it is fun, and the way that it whips you around is a little bit thrilling, honestly, because it does really move you quickly. So I love that. I get to see my friend Buzz again, always a good thing for me. Rock and Roller Coaster used to be my favorite coaster. It used to be over Big Thunder Mountain. I went on it last time. I was really excited to go back on it. It had been a while since I had been on it, and it felt a little bit boring. It felt like there were a lot more dark sections of the ride that I don't know if there used to be something filling it that was maybe down at the time, or if I just hadn't noticed it before, but I don't know. I wasn't as excited about it as I had been in the past. I still love, so Rock and Roller Coaster has a really fast takeoff where it just shoots you to full speed right away. And that's a lot of fun. You go upside down. I like going upside down on roller coasters as long as I feel really secure. So those parts were still fun for me, but I hope that it gets a refurb to maybe bring in more of the storytelling elements of the ride itself, as opposed to just the pre-show for the ride. So replacing that in Hollywood Studios for me was Slinky Dog Dash, which we managed to score a last minute fast pass for. And it was fantastic. It's so smooth, it's cute, it's fun. It just kind of makes you giggle. So I really enjoyed that one, and I'm excited to go on it again next time. And then I have to say, of course, Rise of the Resistance. It's the top ride at Disney World right now, and it is amazing. It's so immersive. The technology is so amazing. I'm not at all a Star Wars fan, and I also am not a fan of like people interacting with me as part of like shows or attractions. Like, I don't want people talking to me or touching me. So I was very nervous most of the time that I was on Rise of the Resistance. And my husband had watched quite a few videos. So I was like, okay, where can I stand so that they don't come in at me when we get off of the transport ship? And don't let them talk to me when we're being interrogated. I don't want to be talked to and all that stuff. So I was nervous most of the time that I was on this ride, but it was still worth it. It's an amazing ride that I will certainly go on again.
So I haven't experienced most of the new Hollywood studio, and I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait for Rise of the Resistance. We were not able to get on it last time, partly by design. We weren't going to try because we were landing in Orlando and going straight to Hollywood Studios. We didn't have time to try for a boarding pass. I think I am a little terrified of it, but I have to do it because of how great it's supposed to be. I also didn't get on Slinky Dog Dash, and I'm really looking forward to that. That looks like a roller coaster I would enjoy because it is just fun throughout and not meant to terrorize me throughout it. And I'm also looking forward to Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railroad. It was supposed to, I was hoping it'd be open when we went there because it said 2020, and granted it was very early 2020, but we missed it. And I'm bummed. I've watched a lot of videos of it. I'm really looking forward to it. And I think when I ride those, they're all going to make my top 5. But when I'm at Hollywood Studios, I do enjoy Walt Disney Presents. I like the old stuff. This gives me a chance to see some of it. We also enjoy Toy Story Mania. It's regular old fun. It's great trying to get a high score. I too am very bad at these, but it's still enjoyable. And I really liked Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy. I thought it was very well done. The storytelling was great. The movement of Lightning McQueen was also very well done. It's a little hard to see him depending on where you're sitting in that room though. And that was one downside for us because we have a couple short people. But overall, Hollywood Studios, I'm sort of a blank slate. I have to try more things.
Lots to do on your next trip. That's going to be really fun. Okay, and finally, Animal Kingdom. Top of my list, top of a lot of people's list in Animal Kingdom is Flight of Passage. We were amazed by this ride. It is so cool. It's like Soarin', but on the next level. I was really worried because as you go through the queue for Flight of Passage, there are signs everywhere that say, if you experience motion sickness, like turn around, you should not ride this ride. And I do experience motion sickness in the car quite regularly. And I was like, should I not be here? I don't know. I don't normally have trouble with it when I'm on rides. I hadn't had trouble with Soarin' or Star Tours or anything like that. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to give it a shot and hope it works out. And I was completely fine. So I think it's just going to depend on what kind of motion sickness folks experience. It was amazing. You can feel the Banshee breathing under you as you're flying. And I think that was what just took me aback and felt so immersive. It was so, so cool. So top of my list for Animal Kingdom, although I would not wait in a 3-hour line for it. I wouldn't wait in a 3-hour line for anything on this list, actually. So I'm just not going to do it, but I did really enjoy that one. Another favorite of mine, and this is a show instead of a ride, but I love Finding Nemo, the musical. I think the puppets are beautiful and the actors are so expressive. It's just a really lovely show that I enjoy going to, and I hope that they bring back for the future because I'd really like to catch it again. And then because I do like roller coasters, I enjoy Expedition Everest. I have never seen it with the original Yeti. So I have only seen it with the disco Yeti that does not move and lights just flash around. So I have a feeling if I had seen it with the original Yeti, or if they managed to fix him someday, that might be a little intense for me and I might need to hype myself up. But I really enjoyed it. And I feel like with the less terrifying Yeti, it's just a really fun coaster. Although again, some folks do experience motion sickness with the backwards part of that ride. So something to be aware of going in. And then I have to mention the really flagship ride of Animal Kingdom, and that's Kilimanjaro Safaris. And that's one that will go on at least twice every trip, probably more than that, because it's my husband's absolute favorite. And honestly, that's probably why it's on my list, is just he gets so excited to go on this ride and it's fun watching him go on the ride.
So Animal Kingdom is usually a half-day park for us, but the problem I have is that my two favorite things are best at opposite ends of the day. So safaris, it's great in the morning. The animals tend to be more active. I also really enjoy that because it's different every time, which has been a theme for a lot of my favorites. And then Flight of Passage, which I think is best at night because all of Pandora glows once it gets dark out. And that's really cool to see, even though the ride itself is inside. The warning signs on Flight of Passage scared me the first time too, because I usually take those Disney warnings for fear of tight spaces seriously. I am incredibly claustrophobic. Like dark makes me claustrophobic. Snow, when there's like a lot of snow on the ground and it piles up on the side of the road, makes me claustrophobic. I am very easily triggered. But the part of Flight of Passage that I think warrants that warning is not really an issue for me because I'm rather petite. I am 5 foot tall, and it's the ride cart itself, because you're sort of on a bicycle shaped device, and they harness you in from behind. So I think when I'm in there, I have plenty of room to move. It's not really tight fitting. But if you were a person who didn't want to be restrained in that fashion, I could understand how it would be a little troublesome. I also sometimes will experience motion sickness, but Flight of Passage is so well done in terms of the visuals and movements being in sync that it wasn't an issue for me. It is just the single greatest ride ever. It is flying, it is thrilling, scary at times, but then also they give you those moments where you just get to take in everything around you. I do have a bad habit of periodically just looking over to see all of the people riding it.
Ooh.
It's so crazy that I have to look at it, but it takes you out of the moment for sure. And it can ruin it a little bit, but I like seeing just the rows and rows of people, all of us with like our glasses on. And if Flight of Passage was a job, I would apply for it. I love it. I want to start every day writing Flight of Passage and then having a cup of coffee. Sadly, it's not an option. Nobody has allowed me to do that yet.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Let us know in the comments what your favorite Disney World rides and attractions are. And remember to like and subscribe to plan along with us.